Meow! Live from the basement. It's Thursday fun. Well, I'm not going to do what you're all expecting me to do this week, but I do have to address current events, although it has been a quiet news week. What do you do if you're a Canadian and somebody asks you about America?
To comment on the words and actions of the U.S. president. But we do have Donald Trump now calling for military action against protesters. We saw protesters tear gas yesterday to make way for a presidential photo op. I'd like to ask you what you think about that, and if you don't want to comment, what message do you think you're sending?
We all watch in horror and consternation what's going on in the United States. It is a time to pull people together, but it is a time to listen. It is a time to learn what injustices continue despite progress over years and decades.
It just so happens the Huples Cat channel has intercepted the audio voice from Justin Trudeau's advisors, and we can now actually play for you the actual things that were being said to Trudeau during the 22 seconds of pause.
To comment on the words and actions of the U.S. president. But we do have Donald Trump now calling for military action against protesters. We saw protesters tear gas yesterday to make way for a presidential photo op. I'd like to ask you what you think about that, and if you don't want to comment, what message do you think you're sending?
Hey, oh my goodness, don't answer, hang on. Don't mention Donald Trump, Get this off Donald Trump. Talk about something bland. We've got to pivot this. How are we going to pivot this? I don't know, that's okay. Just say it's horrible and we're watching and that's it, then pivot.
We all watch in horror.
That's great,
and consternation
no blame.
What's going on in the United States.
Be careful.
It is a time to pull people together, but it is a time to listen.
That's good, that's good, he's doing well.
To learn what injustices continue despite progress.
Excellent.
Over years and decades. But it is a time for us as Canadians
pivot and stay off
to recognize
Trump.
that we
Trump.
too have our challenges.
One of the things we're all fascinated on is how the pandemic is actually affecting Merman. So who better than Merman Adrian to let us know? He looks a bit down. Somebody needs to send him some sardines.
Merman Adrian Build-Up Party. We're day 15. Flip. Not 15. Day 45. They stopped bringing me food, so now I really got to ration out. They've locked down the city. The whole city's on quarantine, so can't be going around Los Angeles. Everyone has to stay in their place. Flip. It's raining out. It's raining. It's cold. Where's the sun? Merman Adrian Build-Up Party. Can't wait to get back in the water, ocean, swim. First thing I'm gonna do when I get out of here is go to the ocean, go to the beach, go swim. Merman Adrian Build-Up Party. Second thing, gonna visit all my mermaid friends. Go party, go to Mermaid Lagoon, go mermaid hike, do all that fun stuff, get some food, drinks, go to the bars, go to the clubs, go to the movies. All the movies are shut down right now. Flip. Guys, let me know how you guys are doing during this pandemic. I'll update you guys soon. Merman Adrian Build-Up Party.
Of course, it's not just Merman that are suffering through the pandemic. Spare a thought for the United Kingdom's politicians who've been forced for over a week now to defend quarantine breaking by the senior strategist of the government and pretend that it was okay, when in fact it wasn't really okay. But yeah, it's always fun to watch politicians squirm, so let's watch them squirm.
Would you go on a 60-mile round trip to test your eyesight?
I have on occasions in the past driven with my wife in order to make sure that What's the right way of putting it?
I'm staggered. I don't know how you're going to get out of this one, but it's going to be fun.
No. I think people who know me would know that I'm not an authority on driving, and that I'm not the best person in the world to ask detailed questions about driving.
No, I merely asked you if you've ever been on a 60-mile round trip to test your eyesight, and you said you had. I mean, why not go to
no.
Specsavers?
He wanted to make sure before taking the journey down the A1 that he was safe to drive, and of course, in the course of that journey, it was confirmed, he confirmed to himself, that he was safe to drive.
If you, Mr. Gove, if your eyesight is not good enough, that in itself is an offence under the Road Traffic Act.
Dominic's eyesight was good enough. That was the whole point of the journey, to determine that he could drive safely.
So you are entirely happy with that explanation, which also happened to be on his wife's birthday, which another reason why people have brought that into consideration when they are listening to his explanation of what they heard yesterday.
Yes, but to my mind, I can't see the relevance of that.
If you're struggling with COVID-19 and you think you've got a problem with your eyesight, what is the government advice?
Well, I think that different people will take different steps in order to make sure that their eyesight is properly addressed.
What's the government advice?
Well, we advise people, obviously, to seek medical advice.
So it's not to get in a car and drive half an hour with your 4-year-old strapped in the back.
He took a short journey. That short journey was one that was consistent with the medical advice, consistent with the medical guidance. When he arrived at just outside Barnard Castle, he went for a very short walk.
No, sorry, Mr. Gove. We don't need to go into all of that detail because we heard him yesterday. So are you telling me that doctors told him to take that drive? He was following medical advice?
I'm saying the doctors cleared him to be able to return to work, and he was able to return to work.
In other news from the United Kingdom, the British government's decided to restart rationing, and they're doing it by public information films, and this is kind of inspiring. But they're also, of course, using all of Britain's ingenuity and brains to actually work very hard on getting a flu vaccine, as we'll see. And I think it's somewhat interesting that the British don't even bother with PPE when they're handling flu.
Mrs. Bill Green, an average British housewife, filled her market basket with her choice of foods brought from all over the world. She bought as much as she wanted, of anything she could afford. But on that old system, the British could never have survived the war, so they cut down their food imports by half. They rationed all basic foods except bread and vegetables. There are 4 in the Green family. Their basic rations don't amount to much, but they are sure of getting them every week.
Also with worldwide problems, but in a totally different field, are the doctors and scientists at the World Influenza Center, Mill Hill. New types of flu are their concern, and from all over the world come reports of the latest types of influenza discovered by the World Health Organization. With the reports come samples of the local flu virus, which the scientists allow to grow in specially selected fertile eggs. When identified, the various types of flu can now be fought by an appropriate vaccine. But the researchers have no easy task, since there are 3 main types of influenza bug, and 2 of the types have dozens of strains. Not until a vaccine is perfected, which can deal with all the types and subtypes, will the world be rid of this common illness.
Indeed, they're still hard at it. When I was 21, I actually went there for 2 weeks and got £4 a day, which I spent on a case of beer a day, for the common cold vaccine research, and I got the common cold, and my friend who came with me, he didn't get the cold, so there you go, they're working hard. But of course, the United States of America is not, absolutely not at all, short of British ingenuity, because actually a lot of Americans are British. But that's another matter. But how are Americans dealing with the pandemic? What's American ingenuity coming up with?
We got some masks, some alternatives here for you, some things that you can try to do. And this first one here, you know, everybody has got this stuff here, duct tape, and you just take you a couple of twist ties and get your duct tape right there, right length.
And the ears that big.
Yeah, and see, you can make one out of duct tape. Now, that works pretty slick and easy. Everybody's got plenty of that.
Of course, everybody's favourite Californian liberal uncle, Uncle Al, otherwise known as Divefrog79, has finally figured out how to get out of his garage, and he's actually doing external shots now of his beautiful garden. But he's using a laptop, not his camera phone, because he doesn't know how to use the camera phone to take videos. So if you could pop over to his channel and tell him, it might save us all hearing grinding noises during his videos. But anyway, nice to see you back, Uncle Al.
Hello. We're going to take a little tour. I've been using these. You know what it is? It's a pot. Fabric pot. So a lot of people know I dabble in gardening. Sometimes I have to use a cane, but I have to carry the laptop because I still can't figure out how to use the camera on the phone yet. So we're going to go outside and we're going to take a look at my garden so far. And I already got fruit on it. And I think another peach tree. Got one fruit on it. My roses. And more cucumbers using the bag. See that? There. And my tomato plant. Still working on it. Got a few green tomatoes on it. Never had relatives work with you.
Apparently Anastasia, one of my subscribers, and her children like me to go meow, and it sets the kids off because they all go meow back, and that's pretty cool. But this should be a warning to you. If you have small children or even big children, you may be wanting to censor them from my channel because it can cause a serious outbreak of meow.
Praise to the cult of Kitty! We have joined the Kitty cult!
That's so nice. To play us out this week, I've enlisted the help of Jon Hamm. He's an actor well known for certain things, maybe Mad Men, and Mad Men seems to be a logical fit with my channel. So Jon Hamm, I asked him, John, how can you become a Canadian? How can Americans, because let's face it, America needs to have more Canadian in it. How can Americans become Canadian? And this is just a little bit of a hodgepodge of Jon Hamm telling us all how to become Canadian, eh?
Being a celebrity is not easy. I'm constantly working out.
You don't want to get too bulky.
Pain is just weakness leaving the body, Brandon.
Hey Canada, what's up? It's Jon Hamm here from Quarantine. Now, obviously, I'm not Canadian, but it's at times like this that I really wish I was, because you guys are crushing it. Virtually. Where's first? Barrie, Ontario, obviously. I mean, what a charming and thoughtful group of Ontarians to name an entire city after some guy named Barrie. Very cool. You ever think of maybe naming one Hamilton? You could call it the Hammer. Happens to be my nickname. It's just a thought. Whatever. What's that? Oh, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan? Of course. You have the tallest moose and the biggest hearts. Now, you know, the mayor of Moose Jaw, Fraser told me, he and I are pen pals, and he is working on getting me my Canadian citizenship. Isn't that right, Mayor? Oh, come on. You think I wouldn't recognize Chilliwack, BC? Oh, your desire to help one another has no peaks and valleys. Consistently awesome. And with so many beautiful mountains and waterfalls, I mean, if I was going to live anywhere in Canada, it might have to be Chilliwack. Sorry, Mayor told me. Let's see, what's next? Oh, you guys are going to love this. Holy mackerel. The quaint and charming city of Fredericton, New Brunswick. Let's talk of New Brunswick. Make me crave fiddleheads. Just love those twirly greens. Okay, virtual tour over. That was fun.
Brandon, order some more of these Yukon Gold fries from Skip the Dishes.
Yukon's greatest creation.
Brandon, everybody knows these were invented in Guelph. That's such a you thing to say.
Well, that's it from Thursday Fun. Have a really great weekend. Hug and kiss the people you love. And remember that life is fleeting and it shouldn't be just a dream. You should actually interact with your life and be a happier person. Toodles! This has been a 2020 Bull Terry production.